My name is Barry Schleifer. I was aboard the USS Harwood DD-861 destroyer on a WestPac cruise from April of 1968 to November of 1968. I was a seaman when I went into the Navy. I came out as an ETN-3. I want to just read a few excerpts from a diary that I kept while I was aboard. Back on 24 May of 1968, we left Longopo City, Philippines to go South Vietnam. We arrived in South Vietnam about three days later. I can remember the captains talking to each other using bullhorns. I was on the ship at the time, and I could hear them talk about, watch out when you get to Capley, because the other ship had been fired upon 3 days earlier. Well, several days later we were up in Capley, and this is just an excerpt from my diary. On May 28th, today we were hit by a 6-inch shell from one of 4 North Vietnamese shore batteries. We were in condition 3 watches, cruising at 5 knots only for 5 miles off the coast of Capley. I was on the lee helm in the pilot house when the first of some 30 shells landed 50 yards off the port bow. The number 2 shell landed 50 yards off the starboard bow. It was about this time that the captain, who had the con, gave me the order to crank the lee helm up to flank, which is 25 knots. The 3rd shot landed above Mount 52. It was an airburst. I believe if we hadn't increased our speeds, that 3rd shell may have landed up forward where we were at. As we continued in retreat to get out of range, I sounded general quarters at the behest of the captain of the ship. Mount 51 had lost power, so we were manually training that mount back to hostile fire on shore. We destroyed 2 of the 4 shore batteries. In the meantime, I was back in the handling room, which is my general quarters position. And that was handling room of Mount 52, taking out shells and powder cases out of the hoist leading up to the mount. We had 2 powders stuck in the hoist, so we shifted to manual operations and commenced cranking the jammed powders and projectiles back down. The gunner's mate came into us telling us to get out because of a fire in the magazine down below. We stopped cranking and made it out of the hatch. The damage control party came down with charge hoses and flooded the magazine handling room, the OI, OC compartments as well. They secured general quarters and set condition 3 again. So again, I went back to the lee helm, which was my position before the battle station was initiated. As I did before, and this was at 13:30. After getting out of range of enemy guns, a helicopter from a nearby carrier came and picked up 2 of our men that were injured. Injured were GMC-1 Fishlock and CSSN Harsh. Fishlock and Harsh were taken to a hospital ship in the vicinity. Fishlock was back aboard the ship a few weeks later. Harsh was taken to a hospital stateside. And to this day, I still don't know whether he lived or died. Going back to general quarters, we threw all our projectiles and powders overboard because of a fire in the handling room. Some of the reduced powders floated, so we turned back and sank them with M14 rifle fire and 50 caliber machine guns. Damage done to Mount 52 by the shrapnel from the 6-inch shell put holes about 6 inches through a stanchion, put holes through a block, blew a 3-foot hole in the diameter of the top Mount 52, and put holes in the main deck of OC compartment below. Hunks of shrapnel went through the vacant racks of OC division. As I was going down to the handling room, I remember visually looking up and seeing the sky as I was in the internal parts of the ship. I could see the sky and didn't realize we had been hit. Also, you could see shrapnel smoldering in vacant racks of OC division. Well, we fired all day at targets to destroy and all night for harassment. A minimum of 37 targets a day were given us to fire at. On May 29th, we were fired from the same area, Capley, Taggart Island, by the 2 remaining shore batteries. Because of increased speed, they had no chance of zeroing in on us. 5 or 6 shots fell off our fantail some 200 yards away. I again was on the bridge in the pilot house, this time as a lookout. My battle pay for tomorrow is $135. May 30th, today, for revenge, we went back again to where we were hit. This time at a faster speed at 25 knots and under the protection of rain, a rain squall. Mount 51 fired 18 shots on our way in and only a few rounds as we left the target area. We had already completed repairs of Mount 52. Mount 52 was loaded with window projectiles which are used to jam enemy radar in order to prevent us from being picked off by radar tracking missiles. Secondary explosions were seen on the peninsula of Caplet, and general quarters were manned when we went in and when we came back out. I have another entry here of a time frame when we were refueling with another ship, and we had an incident here. On August 11th of 1968, while refueling off the starboard side of the oiler Graphia, the Tripoli, which is a helicopter carrier on the port side of Graphia, also refueling at the time, lost a man overboard. We broke away from the oiler in order to pick up the man. The Tripoli sent out one of her helicopters to rescue. They sent down a man to make the pickup, but the man overboard was unconscious, making it impossible for both men to be rescued. So we lowered our whale boat and we rescued both of them. That was August 11, 1968.